Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning to talk about some of the cautionary signs our clients are faced with when using QuickBooks and Excel to run their construction companies. My name is Michael Fadush, and I'll be today's MC. And driving our presentation is my colleague, Henry Lubis. He's been around the construction technology industry for a long, long time and has seen just about everything imaginable. So just a few housekeeping details for today. Everyone is on mute and will be for the remainder of the session. Just because we're limited to 30 minutes today, I want to make sure we deliver as much value as possible to you. So if you have questions, please use the question and answers feature in our webinar, and we will address all questions at the end of our presentation. So I would like to briefly introduce our company, Accordant, and then we'll get into the meat of our presentation. Accordant is a professional services firm focused on providing technology solutions to the construction industry. We're headquartered in Morristown, New Jersey, but support clients throughout the country. We have over 30 certified consultants certified by the vendor who are ready to implement your new system, whether that be Sage, Acumatica, or one of our other supportive products. So briefly, I just want to highlight the 5 telltale signs that we have and see plaguing our clients that are coming off of QuickBooks and Excel in construction today. And that would be a lack of job visibility, trouble completing jobs on time and under budget, having unpredictable profit margins, eliminating risk, and especially today, finding and retaining top talent. So with that, Henry is now going to dive into our presentation, talk about these 5 signs in greater detail, and then, like I said, we will address any questions at the end of the presentation. So Henry, take it away.
All righty. Thank you, Mike. And as Mike said, I've been in the construction software industry for almost 20 years now. And in our company, at the Accordant Company, I'm a newcomer. We've got years and decades, if not centuries, of combined talent in the area. And, one of the things we see all the time is, people migrating to new software. Why do they do it? What is the motivating factor to make them make that investment and decision in migration? And hopefully, we can touch on some of those areas today. And, you may be in the same boat. We hope we hit a nerve, maybe on just one small aspect of our presentation that would prompt you to, give us a call. Let's explore it with you a bit more detail. And then hopefully we have a solution that will make a big difference in your organization, your profitability, and your construction business. So these are a couple things that we see. And again, just very kind of high level, lack of visibility to job progress. We're going to go into each one of these as we go. Completing jobs on time and under budget, having unpredictable profit margins, eliminating risk, all kinds of risk on a construction project that we'll talk about, and strategies maybe to help minimize some of that. And of course, finding and retaining good talent is a key thing we're hearing today in the marketplace. So let's kind of jump right in. Hold on a second. Okay, so lack of visibility to job progress. What does that mean? Well, how many times do we go into a potential client or a client and, I ask them, how are they doing on a job? And they say, well, I don't know. We have to wait till the job is over until we capture all the spreadsheets and get all the final bills in and, all sorts of things like that until we can understand where we are on a job progress. And, why is that? Well, maybe the scope of work was poorly defined, right? So we don't know are we making money or losing money on a task on a job because we haven't defined it that well, right? Or we don't really have good reporting, or a time capture system looks like the time card you see here, all handwritten, and then people take that handwritten data and then transfer it to a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet's out of date the minute it's saved. So, we see that lack of technology tools minimize the ability for clients to really see where they are on a project, right? They don't have standardized cost tracking. Some people will say, well, I have a hard enough time getting my guys to tell me where they were, never mind what they did on the project. Well, to be perfectly honest, that's the information you need. And, maybe we can introduce tools to you in the future here that help you capture some of this data that will give you that visibility that you really need. Next challenge is, hey, labor's a big part of many construction projects on the subcontract side, for example. And, how can I be assured that we're doing the work on time and under budget? So we see that a lot. And again, it's usually because of lack of good tools to monitor and track where someone is, on a project. So did we estimate the project by a task code or activity code? So it will make a difference. If you say it should take, 100 hours to do demolition and then 300 hours to do carpentry and 400 hours to do drywall, that you'd want to know, what did it really take? Maybe the job overall is profitable, but did one of those tasks exceed expectations? Are you a really good drywall company but a terrible tiling company? And then you shift some of your assets to some contracts based on that. And again, that's all comes down to having a standardized job cost system, tracking time to those categories, doing it on a daily basis. So you're doing it contemporaneously, not at the end of the week, right? And then scheduling your folks, right? So, how do you schedule in your organization today? Is it you wake up in the morning and whoever rings your phone first gets the workforce? How about implementing a much more formal scheduling tool like you see in the bottom left corner there that has all of your people, your jobs, and your activities so that everybody in your organization has a view of where your workforce needs to be? Of course, unpredictable profit margins. Sort of everything we talk about here so far leads into profit. The reason you would implement technology at the end of the day is to help manage your profit margins. And where do we see the challenges in managing profit? Well, it's some of the things we've already talked about. Capturing the time in a proper manner, not having the right documents, not doing poor change management process. I always like to say that, the superintendent's on the field and he goes to has an issue on a project and the client representative says, sure, go ahead and do that and we'll sign a change order. And then what happens with that information at that point? Is it recorded? Is it captured? Or is it just put on the back of a lunch bag and stuck in the back of the project manager's truck? And if he ever finds it someday down the road, he'll process it so you can capture that revenue with that extra activity. So those are the things we see with profit drains on projects. Also, we'll talk about this in a few more minutes, inadequate compliance monitoring. You have subs on a project, and if they're certificates of insurance or they don't have proper coverage, that could really impact your profit and eat every dollar of profit you might have made on a project. So, managing profit, again, is the key to it is having a good solid base of, what did I expect to spend, managing your change orders very well, and then having, good visibility to that project. We're showing you here an example of a dashboard. Maybe hard to read, but we're comparing, work build versus total costs on a monthly basis, with the arrow, the line graph is the cumulative profit on a project. Well, that's awesome. You can see this every single day. And one of the things people need to guard against, for example, is that profit fade at the end of the job, right? So, yeah, we build everything out, but, we haven't closed the job out properly. We continue to spend costs on it. And luckily, this project doesn't have that profit fade. But, if you had a job and could see that here in a graph like this, you could be proactive and take action in the organization to prevent or limit that profit fade at the end of a project. How about estimating? Everything starts with an estimate. And what do we see in the industry today? Well, on the left-hand side, you'll see some of the things we have seen in the past, and believe it or not, a lot of these tools are still in play today. You have the wheel at the top. You have in the middle there, you'll see a hard digitizer board, and those manual slide rules that would help you estimate tools. So, believe it or not, we walk into clients every day, still see some of these opportunities, but as time has gone on, you see challenges with using those tools. And it all comes down to, we see today in the market, the estimators are busy. There's a lot of construction projects being bid. The volume of construction projects that people have to bid are increasing. It's being more competitive. So to get more jobs, you have to bid more jobs to bid to get jobs. So having improper tools limits the opportunity to bid those projects. So what we're suggesting is, hey, how about standardizing your estimating process? increase your speed and accuracy, allow you to bid larger opportunities and more profitable opportunities. What kind of a difference would that make on your business? So we recommend lots of times that people go in and implement a database-driven cost system. So instead of you guessing what drywall costs per square foot, you can actually track, the price of a piece of drywall, how many hours it takes to hang the drywall, to finish the drywall, and then use takeoff tools to get an accurate measurement as to how many square foot of drywall you have. That makes it faster, makes it more accurate, and then also allows you to do more jobs. More importantly, it allows you to scale your organization. So it's great you have two guys in the back that are doing estimating, but when they retire or go find something else to do and you bring a new crew in, how are they going to implement the procedures and policies to ensure continuity in your business? Some of our estimating tools will help that. And of course, this is what everybody wants, right? You gain time back in your life. So with manageable tools, maybe you can spend some time doing what this guy's doing, sitting on the beach. Now, the only problem I have a couple of problems with this picture, by the way. First of all, the guy is on the beach in a suit. So if he was not coming from a construction project in a suit, but he does have a hard hat on. And secondly, he's using a desk chair. You think at least he'd have a beach chair. Anyway, the idea is, eliminate stress in your life, give you time to do things that you enjoy. I think another thing we see people implementing technology for is to eliminate risk. There's all kinds of risk on a project. There's financial risk, there's schedule risk, there's profit risk, there's reputation risk, right? What does the market see your company as? Do you look like a well-run professional company would invite people to use you time and time again on projects, or are you haphazard, doing things last minute, et cetera? So, how do we manage some of that risk? Well, there's a couple of strategies and tools we see implemented. Mobile field communications, giving your workforce tools to capture data in real time contemporaneously on a project, right? So you're on a project and you have an issue, capture that immediately so there's visibility to that throughout the organization. You can track it. It's not good enough to have all that information, just in one person's head. Use a field communication tool. Or just standardize your communications with clients and subs, right? So if you have an opportunity, issue on a job, shoot out an RFI from a tablet. Immediately, instead of having that change order on that lunch bag, produce the change order from the field. Or use other technologies, right? So, we see the use of drones being very important today, growing on construction sites, right? So as you see issues or challenges, get a good picture and capture that video with that information so that, when claim risk comes down the road, at the end of the project, you'll have contemporaneous, not just data, but video footage that'll help manage that risk. Another area of risk, subcontractor compliance, right? How do you manage that today? We see people have folders of, month by month with all the sub-certs that are about to expire. Well, that's fine. However, how about if you could track that information, to a vendor, to a job, and then receive alerts, right? Automatically receive alerts that when people are about to expire. So don't allow a subcontract to go in your system if you don't have a certificate of insurance active on the project. Or generate the lien waiver automatically and put that invoice on hold and automate the notification to the sub that, hey, we're waiting for this lien waiver. We can't pay you until you sign this document. Well, it's something people do today, but a very manual, time-consuming process, and certainly opportunities for missing transactions is rampant, right? So what we like to suggest to eliminate risk or minimize risk, use some field mobile tools to capture daily conditions, improve your document control systems for change orders and lien waivers, and then automate compliance, right? Like we talked about. And if you do that, you should have this. Well, when I first got into this business almost 20 years ago, a colleague said, hey, every contractor wants MTFHFG. I said, what is that? That's more time for hunting, fishing, and golf. So hopefully implementing technology tools will help you do things like this. And the last thing we want to talk about today is just finding and retaining good talent, right? We hear that all the time. And, what are some of the challenges with that? Well, first of all, what is the image you're projecting to prospective hires? Or do you have the sign down below, like the Walmart sign? This is how you project, the fact that you're looking for talent. Do you give your people the right tools to accomplish their goals and objectives? And do you make them accountable for projects without giving them the visibility to what's actually happening? So, some things we're seeing is, an automated onboarding system, professional looking, documents that when someone comes down for that, onboarding meeting in your company, is it a bunch of folders and pieces of paper strewn around a desk, or is it a much more formal, professional looking experience? Capture time in real time, right? So, part of the challenge is, managing projects, and, people want to be held accountable for their projects and their tasks on the job, but if you don't have a mechanism to capture the time to the job, how can you hold someone accountable? So this is something that we feel is attractive to when you're trying to hire a project manager, for example. And then giving them the information, right? So can you give them a, up-to-date, up-to-minute job hours versus budget report, so that you're going to hold them, hey, you only have 984 hours to do general requirements. Well, fine. Tell me where I am, what's coming, what's projected. So giving them information like that, makes your employees more productive and, hopefully happier in your company and reduces turnover. And of course, with all of the things I'm suggesting here, we could wind up with this picture. This is a very famous picture in the construction world, where the big boat's called the change order and the little boat's called the original contract. So don't show that to your clients, but certainly that could be your long-term goal for your organization. And how do we do all this? Well, we didn't want to make this product specific, but we did want to introduce you to some of the tools that we bring to the table to help clients achieve some of the objectives that we talked about. Everything is centered around a construction accounting platform, better than QuickBooks and Excel, perhaps. Sage 100 Contractor is for our emerging contractors, coming out of QuickBooks maybe for the first time. We also have Sage 300, formerly Timberline, people are familiar with. The granddaddy of construction platforms, I'll call it. It's been around, for well over 30 years, and in recent CFMA studies, it is the most widely used construction accounting platform in North America by far. And then new to the marketplace is Acumatica. Acumatica is a cloud-based tool and brings in not just construction functionality that we're comfortable with, but now bringing in integrated CRM, integrated field management, integrated inventory control. So very exciting opportunity new to the market space. So everything we do is based on one of those products. And then around the circle here, we have other tangential or integrated solutions. We start with takeoff and estimating tools, document management tools we can talk about with you as well. Mobile field service perhaps is important to your business. BI reporting tools, you saw that profit graph. So we have the opportunities to have some of that for you, as well as project management, doing field project management, collaborative project management. We work with Procore as well, so that's a very popular solution today. So, at the Accordant Company, we like to look at the challenges you're facing, investigate which of the solutions that we have fit you best, and then hopefully help you move forward with the solution that's going to achieve your objectives. And with that, I'm just finishing up and see if there's any questions or anything else that if you have a question, perhaps you could type it into the grid and see what we could, and I'd be happy to answer it.
Awesome, Henry. Thanks so much. We do have a few questions, and I think a lot of our attendees were doing a lot of head nodding up and down over the last 15 minutes or so, because me and you both see that every single day, no matter where we go. So we do have a few questions. First one, is there a way to track vendor compliance to specific jobs?
Absolutely. That is a cornerstone to all of our solutions, that, it's okay to have a generic umbrella policy or to a customer to a vendor, but then many times clients on your projects want an indemnity to a specific project. And what we're seeing more and more is not just that, but coverage limits. We're seeing people reading policies and sending policies specific to projects. And we do have tools within each application to manage that.
Awesome. Thank you. Another question, do you integrate with ADP?
We can. We've got a number of solutions depending on the platform. So we can take data and for job costing and certified reporting purposes and union reporting purposes through one of our platforms, and then transmit that information over to ADP for payment and compliance, tax filing, etc. So we have a couple of different ways that we can do that with all of our platforms.
Great. Okay, thanks. I think one of those reports that you showed is something that a lot of our clients struggle with, is tracking time to jobs and cost codes. So we can absolutely do that in any of our solutions as well. So ADP typically struggles with capturing that time to jobs and cost codes, and we can do that right out of the box with any of our solutions. So it's definitely something we can do for you guys. And lastly, one more question. What do I do with my Excel estimating database? So Henry, I could take this one. So a lot of our clients,
go ahead, Mike.
Many of them come off of Excel, and they have the same Excel estimating database they've been working with for a long time, 15, 20 years, and they've spent years perfecting it. Generally, one person has been doing that over time, and as the company grows, new estimators are brought on, and although they know how to estimate, they're not familiar with that tool, and it's not standardized across the organization. So Sage is actually releasing a new Excel data migration tool that's going to be released this spring. And there's actually an upcoming webinar on the 19th this month. There's 2 sessions, morning and afternoon. So we're going to preview that tool for the first time. This is really a game changer. No matter what estimating software company you talk to, their biggest competitor is Excel. Everybody uses it. But again, a few things that make Excel not the most viable solution are a lack of standardization, right? Broken formulas, and accountability, right? Audit trails, being able to track changes throughout your estimate and do some bid analysis and so on. So we're going to show you how you can move that Excel database into a platform like Sage Estimating. Again, it's groundbreaking and a big time game changer for the industry. Just give a few more seconds for any other questions that come in. And it looks like that's it. So Henry, if you could just move to the next slide. So guys, if you found value, or again, if you were nodding your head up and down throughout this presentation, we'd love to talk to you. We can do a type of diagnostic conversation with you guys, or meeting, and break down your workflow and processes and talk about ways that we can improve that with any combination of our solutions. So we'd be more than happy to set that up. If you would like to set up that meeting or a software presentation, please feel free to contact Krista Vigorito, and she will put you in touch with the appropriate sales rep to begin that conversation. Or if any of our attendees, some of you we have been working with previously, if you feel like shooting me, Henry, or any other of our sales reps an email or a call, we'd love to set that up with you guys as soon as possible. So with that, thanks everybody for joining. Have a wonderful day, and we hope to talk to all of you soon. Thanks so much.
Thanks all. Have a good day.